let's do the thing.
The podcast that we do.
Yes. Hello and welcome to Well, There's Your Problem, podcast about engineering disasters where the worst disaster is actually my Skype somehow. Just completely fell apart.
You're going to sound so much better now that we're on Discord.
This is true, yes. Well, I think we should sound just about the same, I hope. Or, well, in the final recording. I mean, obviously we can hear each other better now.
That allows for like more better comedy, more podcasting.
Yes. I'm Justin Rosniak. I'm the person you're listening to right now. My pronouns are he and him. Okay. I've introduced myself.
I am Alice Caldwell-Kelly. My pronouns are she and her.
Excellent timing.
Love the beer can snap there. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Excellent timing.
All right, Liam, go.
Hi, I am Liam Anderson. I am at Old Man Anderson on Twitter. My pronouns are he, him, and I am excited to talk about Texas City, Texas, home of the Dimsvale Dimmadome.
Yes. the city by the Texas.
Yes. Stratford upon Texas.
It's not a tricky one like Kansas City.
Yeah.
Because Kansas City is, of course, in Missouri.
As we all know, yes. A lot of Chiefs fans got very mad at me when I said that because they were very insistent that some of Kansas City is in Kansas. And it's like, no, I learned a long time ago that Kansas City is in Missouri. I'm not going to update that knowledge with any new information, so you're wrong.
I think Kansas City, Kansas is basically a tax haven.
Yeah, it's like Sark or something.
Yeah.
It's the Cayman Islands on the Missouri.
All right, so you can see on the screen right here, there's a big explosion. And there's a bunch of fire and stuff.
Oh, no.
Now, like a lot of explosions, that's not supposed to be there. Right?
Yeah. I mean, when the explosion is supposed to be there, that's more of a military context, right?
Yes.
And we're not talking about that. We're talking about a civilian, a peacetime thing.
Yeah, this is actually a scene from the Texas-Israeli War, 1999.
Oh, that was a bad one. Oh boy, are you guys not going to like this discourse hat?
George W. Bush lighting up his own oil wells in an act of like dramatic irony.
So anyway, let's talk about some context here. This is Texas City. You can see because it's labeled, right?
Yeah, very helpfully.
Very good.
They got that pixelated coastline.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, navigating a ship there's a bitch.
I hate when I get pop-in when I'm trying to like dock my ship and I just switch from one water texture to another.
Why are we rubber banding?
So, as we mentioned earlier, Texas City is in Texas. It's sort of like an inland port near Galveston, right?
But Mitski told me that Texas was a landlocked state.
No, they were wrong about that.
Nope, sorry, Mitski.
You guys don't like Mitski? No, she has a song where she sings that Texas is a landlocked state, and when people got mad at her, she had this explanation that was like, "Oh, it's only for me and the person I wrote it for that it's about. It's a metaphor. It's not that I didn't know that Texas has a coastline."
I'm like, tired of metaphors. Nope.
Yeah, sure you did.
I mean, in fairness, if you're like way on the interior of Texas or like in the parts of Texas that are like West Texas or like
oh yeah, way out there.
You know, it's basically landlocked because you got to drive, an infinite amount of time to get to the ocean. All right, so today Texas City, it's got a bunch of oil refineries and chemical plants like that. It's got a big port, which is down here, right?
It's weird looking at all of those all of those floating roof tanks. They look like a blister pack full of medication when you see them from up in the air like this.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk more about floating roof tanks in a bit.
Oh, good. Spoilers.
But in the era, this is modern Texas City. We're gonna talk about Texas City just after World War II, right? And it's a smaller place, more densely populated place, but with fewer people overall, right? Because just after the war, we haven't gotten into the automobile suburb era.
There's no sprawl.
And the relatively new oil industry is, paying everyone a lot of money. So Texas City is booming, right?
Love a
Nice.
boomtown.
Yeah.
The current ones, the current like back and boomtowns, those are doing very well. No problems there.
Absolutely none.
Nope.
Hmm.
Nothing bad happens when you give a whole bunch of people who just graduated high school $100,000 to fuck off to the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and a job that like where you make like $10,000 a day, but also have like a 20% risk of losing an arm. It's great.
You can get 100K on one hand. Shit.
This is like our alternative career if podcasting doesn't work out.
He's not wrong, actually.
I hate when we fucking we strike oil under the podcast. we're just gonna be like Los Angeles. We're gonna be like LA County. We'll just have like a concealed oil derrick just working away in the background in like your backyard.
I moved up to Fort McMurray to podcast.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you got to fly in with all of your own podcasting equipment.
Hey, guys, I heard there's a booming podcasting market up here.
Yeah, you get up there and you spend like, you're working like 12 hours a day in the podcast mines, and you realize the only guys making money are the people selling the microphones.
Yeah, if you want to make money in a podcasting boom, sell microphones.
Cold Town Road is still blaring at the speakers for some reason.
This podcast brought to you from Fort Mac.
All right. So for more context, we should also talk about Liberty ships.
Oh, boy.
right.
We won the war with these depressing fucking things.
I know this looks exciting because it's named John Brown, but it's actually
not that John
it's
Brown.
a different John Brown.
It's like the
unfortunately.
John Brown who was like, I don't know, Secretary of Commerce under Franklin Pierce or some shit.
I think he was a Navy guy. Yeah.
But like, yeah, this is how you win wars, right? You win wars with logistics, and logistics is boring.
He was named for another. He was a union leader.
Ah,
Hand to
okay.
God, he was involved in he was part of the United Mine Workers and was involved at the Ludlow massacre.
Huh. So I guess like based on evidence of, I guess, two people, 100% of people named John Brown are cool.
Yeah, that seems to be the case.
I can't think of a bad John Brown. Can you think of a bad John Brown?
No. I can think of bad people with the last name Brown, and I can think of bad people with the first name John.
Yeah, but those two things together, yeah. Anyway, we gave a tribute to this guy with this kind of hideous liberty ship.
Yes.
What is a liberty ship for the children?
So a liberty ship was a mass-produced merchant ship.
Liberty ship.
Right? You know, which was produced in World War II, right? They produced these to an entirely uniform design, and they're designed for just carrying stuff, right? Break bulk cargo. And break bulk cargo is stuff that's like in crates and barrels and in sacks or on pallets or something like that, right? Not something
you have
like
to use the big like longshoreman hooks to like move it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like this is a project of like FDR and his flirtation with American quasi-socialism of, we'll just do a 5-year plan. We'll just build one ship over and over again, crank them out one a day, and it works. Yeah, and win the war.
You know, so the idea is we try and build these liberty ships faster than the Germans can sink them, right?
Which you do, yeah. Like you get all of these movies and stuff about how fraught the peril of like the U-boat captains and shit was. They never stood a chance. They could have been incredibly good at it. Doesn't matter, because you sink one of these, and in the time it takes you to do that, like you've built 10 more.
Oh yeah,
just arsenal of democracy shit. Like, yeah.
So these were built to an old-fashioned design. They used a triple expansion reciprocating steam engine, because steam turbines were in short supply and were reserved for warships, which meant they were powered by fuel oil, which will become relevant in a few minutes. And so they were designed to carry 10,000 tons of cargo. They were the first ship with welded construction as opposed to riveted construction, because
it's faster.
Yeah, much faster, much cheaper.
Yeah, like I remember from like Glasgow shipyards, riveters. It's a fucking pain in the ass to rivet stuff, and it requires some. Not that welding isn't a skilled job, but it's tricky in a way that's, I think, takes longer and like is more expensive if you fuck up.
Yeah, because the guy has to like, heat up the rivet, and then he's got to toss it 20 feet to you, right? And then you got to like grab it and stick it in real quick, but without burning yourself. It's a Looney Tunes sort of situation with riveting. So some of the early ships took 230 days to build, but the average over the war was 42 days to put one of these together.
Stem to stern.
Yeah, there was one for a stunt. The SS Robert E. Peary was built in 4 days and 12 hours by Kaiser Permanente, which is now a health insurance company.
Yeah, those guys.
The last good thing that they actually did before they went back to like having won the war, taking away people's health insurance for getting cancer.
Yes.
Yeah, great. We love doing this shit during the war. Like, I know Britain, we built a Halifax bomber with the like fancy latticed framework in a day, just by working uninterrupted, just by having shifts come in and out and keep like literally handing the thing over to the next guy. So we love that as a PR stunt.
Yeah, more faster, more better. Right?
That is true. We put the Empire State Building together in like a year, man.
Thinking about the T-34s like rolling off of the factories like unpainted, because why take the time?
That saves weight.
It's fine.
Paint adds weight.
What's rust? Yeah, paint does add weight.
Yeah.
T-34 is not going to survive long enough for it to matter, I promise.
That's what you want in a tank, is weight reduction.
And you get that like cool unfinished paint job thing that previously only the US Army Air Forces were doing.
It's true, yeah.
You love that like sleek aluminium look. It's very cool.
Weren't they stainless steel?
Well, yes, but I just mean the like polished metal look.
Okay. So we built 2,710 of these guys. 2,400 of them survived the war.
It's pretty good, all things considered.
There were some problems with them, though. Like,
tell me about the problems.
Some of the early ships had hull cracks in them, right?
No, that's not ideal.
And at least 3 of them just split in half with no warning.
You don't want to see that.
Yeah, it's not so good.
I mean, I guess it's fine if you're trying to build something that like maybe it gets sunk by a U-boat anyway, right? Like you just write that off as the cost of doing business. But it's kind of harder to do that in peacetime.
Look, just over 0.1% of these ships suddenly split in half for no reason. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, I'll take those odds.
Although there were 1,500 instances of significant brittle fractures, which I notice you're not telling the people.
Fine. It's like when you get like an Airfix model or something, and you're like you don't use enough glue or whatever, and it just kind of like snaps apart at the little spars. It's fine. You just stick it back together.
It's probably rough handling.
Yeah.
Blame the crew, of course.
Yeah, you salvage one of these and you just find that the paint on the hull has like this enormous thumbprint on it, and you're like, that's what's happened.
Yeah. So this was replaced by the Victory ship late in the war, and that was built to a more modern and less sucky design than this. But
also gave us the John Brown too.
Yeah. And but a lot of Liberty ships that survived the war formed the basis for new commercial merchant fleets, right?
Because you can buy them cheap.
Oh, yeah.
There's a ton of people got very rich off of like all of the surplus to requirements socialism products that the US government or whoever just cranked out very cheaply.
Well, it's good, Aristotle Onassis.
Yeah. Yeah, you want a Liberty ship? You got $5.
Yeah, buy a collects. I mean, shit, that's still true. You can buy, if you want, you can buy a Land Rover in the UK very, very cheaply, so long as you're willing to drive out to the middle of nowhere, because the fucking army will just like sell it to some guy for nothing.
It's like a government surplus.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh, yeah. I just check it every few weeks.
$150 for a 2.5-ton truck. Yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah, the next Patreon episode is going to be that you guys get a Humvee.
Roll it up to the live show in my deuce and a half.
Yeah, all the podcasters in the back. Go, 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 go.
Smashing into the menu.
Yeah, I really like the Humvee like ambulance body, the like tall backed one. I think that's cool. I think we should get like a mobile podcasting lab in there.
Oh, I like that. Or I'd buy the version of the Sherman tank with like the chain designed to clear mines on it, and then I would ram
the
that into the
flail.
menu.
Yeah.
Just tearing up a bunch of roads as part of an anti-car action.
There you go. See, I'm doing praxis.
Yes. That's all we needed to do praxis properly was to finally buy a tank.
Yeah, you get the like mine clearing tank, and you systematically obliterate the works of Robert Moses.
Yes. Now there'll be no debate over whether to tear down the BQE.
I'll do it for them.
We'll just do it. Yeah.
You thought Killdozer was excessive.
Yeah, we finally found the kind of tankies that we are, and it's mine clearance tanks.
Yeah. So one of these ships that was sold off after the war was the SS Grand Camp.
French for big camp.
Yes. Yeah, Grand Camp.
Oh.
Looks like shit there, I notice.
Yeah, it does look like shit.
I mean, fucking paint the thing a little bit, maybe.
They did paint it a little bit. You can see there's a patch here.
Yeah, there was a guy just came around with like a really long thing of masking tape. Don't want to get any paint on the rust.
That's even, make sure that's even.
It'll be fine. So the SS Grand Camp, formerly SS Benjamin R. Curtis, was bought by Compagnie Générale Transatlantique.
All right, you didn't fuck that up too bad.
Le Compagnie Opportunistique de Surplus d'Allies.
And this was commonly known in the United States just as the French line.
Because you don't want a bunch of Texans trying to pronounce Compagnie Générale Transatlantique or whatever,
think there'd
right?
be at least enough overlap with Louisianans that they might get at least part of it.
And you would be wrong.
Yeah. Or they're all just talking about their gumbo.
And back over your day, we're going to go down here and down the bayou. You're going to go to we get crawfish, we got live again. What the fuck are we going to do?
Dude, you're gonna get us threatened with like an alligator jig for this.
I love the Cajuns. I love that in the United States we have an entire subgroup of rednecks that only speaks French.
Hey, I married a Creole, so like the fancy French-speaking people. Yeah, I know.
Ooh.
It's funny though because there's only like a few thousand of them, and so like every so often it'd be like, oh yeah, Beyonce is probably like my second cousin. It's like did not get any of that Beyonce money though.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get this grift.
Yeah,
full
for
effect.
sure. You can tell Beyonce is French because of the accent.
How's that Beyonce money?
If she was an Anglo, it would just be Beyonce. All
Yeah,
right,
it would just be Beyonce.
Oh, you can stop.
So this ship was built in 1942 by California Shipbuilding in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is events just prior to April 16th, 1947, right?
Love events just prior to something.
Yes. So I believe it had taken on a cargo of machinery, bales of twine, and a few cases of small arms ammunition.
Just for seasoning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You couldn't do anything in the 50s or the 40s. This is still the 40s, right?
This is just still the 40s, yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't do anything in the 40s without a couple of cases of small arms ammunition.
Just a little sprinkling, you know.
Yeah, you go to the store and like, you know, you get in your like Ford flat 6 and there's a bunch of like loose cartridges rattling around the floorboards and you're just like, yeah, just move that out of the way, it's fine.
It took on all this at the port of Houston, right? But it had to go to Texas City to take on its main cargo of 2,200 tons of ammonium nitrate, right?
Oh, good.
Yeah. And that was bound for still occupied European countries for use as fertilizer, right?
So you're saying this was an inside job?
False flag operation. We're going to take a bold stance that this never actually happened.
This was heading over to Germany to prevent former Nazis from starving.
Oh,
yeah, I know.
Lame.
Right? Lame. Now, loading ammonium nitrate was banned in Houston. Why is this?
Fuel oil, ANFO.
You're jumping ahead, and also I'm gonna say very little for the next slide on the basis that a Muslim says the words ammonium nitrate and a SWAT team fucking comes down my chimney.
Ah, shit. Yeah, we may not have that much time to finish the podcast.
You don't want to accidentally Oklahoma City yourself. Yes, go on.
You just hear the flashbangs come in. It's fine. Just go on without me.
Let us finish the episode at least, you fucks.
Yeah. Alice, ask the nice men if they'll let you save the audio before they take you to prison.
yeah, for sure. Habeas podcast.
Ammonium nitrate, chemical formula NH4NO3, right?
La 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 la, fingers in ears.
Alice, just bleep yourself. You're fine.
Yeah.
You know, it's artificial fertilizer, right? You stick ammonia together with a nitric acid, and you get ammonium
Such
nitrate.
as in these readily available household chemicals.
Now it's got a whole bunch of nitrogen in it, which means it's a good fertilizer.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it's got a whole bunch of nitrogen in it, which means it's a good explosive.
Poor Alfred Nobel. He was the first to really get in on, since saltpeter, to really get in on the fact that it turns out that you try to make fertilizer and you have inadvertently created very good explosives. Just one of those quirks of organic chemistry.
Yeah, you know, it turns out Brondo is not what plants crave. They crave explosives. Bury a stick of dynamite in your yard, folks. It'll grow into a dynamite tree.
I remember the good old days where you could go to the general store in Shamokin and buy half a stick of dynamite. That was before the dandy state got to us.
I don't believe that an armed society is a polite society necessarily, but it was a much weirder society when you could just go to the general store and be like, a case of gelignite, please, and some opium.
Hey man, you get a few cases of sterno, you could have a good old time. You should probably get that. You should probably get rid of that in the edit.
Yeah, just this being the 40s, you could just drive your Ford with the cartridges rattling around.
Drunk. Don't forget you could be
drunk off your ass.
Because DUI wasn't illegal then.
You have a pickup truck with two comically large crates that both say TNT on the side and stencil. No one would bat an eye.
You have a grease gun and a pack of morphine syrettes on the passenger seat, just loose. If you crash into anything, you get impaled on your own steering column. It was a weirder time.
So the thing about ammonium nitrate on its own, right? It's very stable.
Yeah, it's what you want. Yeah,
it'll burn, but you need additional components to make it explode violently, right?
La 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 la.
Which makes it the basis for a popular industrial explosive, right? That's ANFO.
Industrial, recreational, political.
It has many purposes.
Yeah.
So ANFO is literally short for ammonium nitrate and fuel oil.
Oh, it does what it says on the tin, I suppose.
Now, if you remember back a few minutes ago, we talked about how Liberty ships were fueled. And you may be able to see a problem developing here.
Really low-grade bunker fuel oil, right? A lot of impurities in it.
The worst stuff from the bottom of the distillation column. It's just been sitting there for weeks.
You could just say old crow.
Yeah, which is why all of the engines are constantly knocking and banging and grinding and shit, throwing off sparks.
Well, no, because they just burn the oil to generate steam, as opposed to trying to run it through an actual engine. That'd be dumb. Don't do that.
I'm gonna try and do that. I'm gonna get a marine engine and run it off of fuel oil.
It's not gonna work. The funny thing about fuel oil is the one thing you really can't use it for is fuel. At least not in an internal combustion engine.
Ammonium nitrate fuelish oil.
Yes. So, all right, let's talk about some of the events the day of. Right.
I see a caption here that says looking east along north side of Warehouse O, showing the SS Grand Camp a few minutes before the explosion.
Yes.
Oh, that's not foreboding. Thank God.
Yeah, I have a question, which is, in order for us to have this photograph on our podcast, this guy, I'm presuming it's a guy, took this photo and then ran out of town.
It was like, it's smoking fuck now.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
This was taken by, I believe, the captain of another ship that was nearby, which we'll talk about in a second.
Huh.
Not going to be nearby for long.
And after he took this photo, he's like, I better go back to my boat and make sure everything's okay. And then the other boat, this boat done blowed up.
Ah, okay.
So the SS Grand Camp had been docked at Texas City, right? And it was being loaded with big paper bags of ammonium nitrate by like a bunch of longshoremen, right?
Because plastic hadn't been invented yet. You just have paper.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like a big grocery sack.
Plastic had been invented yet, but we hadn't started using it for
Bakelite
shipping ammonium nitrate.
Just a big, beautiful, perfect Bakelite cask full of ammonium nitrate. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be beautiful.
Oh, one thing I did find out about this is that when they were loading this, the longshoreman said, just because it was Texas, right, and it was the like summer or whatever, when they were loading them, the paper bags were hot to the touch. This is not a good sign.
Yeah, it's about as if it's hot for Texas hot. That's pretty hot.
That is true. Love to melt while I'm trying to load my melting fuel.
So yeah, the loading takes a while. It's very labor intensive. It's a multi-day affair, right? It's not like today where you load a bunch of containers on the ship. Here it's like guys have to grab each individual bag that weighs like 50 pounds.
Yeah.
And like throw them on the ship.
It's like individual longshoremen, and they're all, because it's in the 40s, they're all fucking in the like mob affiliated union. They have to spend 7 hours a day like flicking a switchblade open and closed.
Yes.
You have a mandatory switchblade break. Yeah.
They're all smoking. Mandatory smoking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mandatory smoking and switchblade break.
That's pretty impressive coordination, though. So that won us the war.
Around 8 a.m, right? After they opened the cargo hold to start doing more loading, smoke was seen inside the cargo hold, right? Where the ammonium nitrate was being loaded.
Damn it, you take your smoking and switchblade break outside the hold.
Yeah, and that's the thing. No one actually knows how the fire got started, but people speculate it was someone, discarded a cigarette.
It always is. When we get to King's Cross, we'll get there.
Oh, no!
Probably a cigarette and a broken switchblade. Man.
just a stack of like innocently horny old magazines and like a smoldering pipe.
I will be right back.
That's fine. Just like a corncob pipe and like a stack of like old Playboys or something.
Wait, so were they whacking off in the ammonium nitrate hold?
I would assume. I mean, this being the time when like this is before sexual harassment was invented, so dudes, I had to imagine were just jerking off everywhere.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. You just do it with impunity.
This was invented in like 1970, where like a guy with a big collar wheeled in a VHS and a TV and like showed you a little film about how that's sexual harassment, to just be jerking off and some ammonium nitrate. And before that, you just nobody knew any better.
Before that, it was fine. Yeah, I was about to say, who came up with this idea? Where did the VHS tape come from? some academic feminists telling us we can't jerk off in the ammonium nitrate.
It's a safety issue.
Oh, the moisture will damage the cargo. Oh well. You can't do it, not for reasons of like sexual harassment. You actually can't do it. You can't do it for practical reasons.
Well, maybe that was the problem, was they didn't have enough guys jerking off down there. And like that's what allowed that heat to build up. You just like... Are
you suggesting they should extinguish the flame via bukkake?
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying we need some kind of a like cum bucket brigade arrangements. We have a good and normal podcast here.
I was about to say, like all of our diversions where one of our number has to leave, we've caused a disaster. Yeah, we are worthless without all three of us here.
Yes, yeah, we are like the fucking Planeteers.
Listen to our podcast about Anfo and cum.
I feel like it's important for me to just say some absolutely ridiculous, dumb bullshit, because the MI5 agent listening to the previous bit is like, okay, well, this fucking dumbass isn't going to do any terrorism because she's just talking about cum now.
Yes. Yeah. Liam just knocked my door open.
God damn it, Liam.
Ow.
Get your shit together.
Yeah.
You missed a whole digression about cum and about the role of cum in the workplace.
Yes.
Don't just masturbate in the bathroom like an adult.
Well, this was the bathroom. I have to assume there were dudes pissing on it and stuff too.
Well, you couldn't piss on it. Well, we'll actually talk. Pissing on it would actually make it a more effective fertilizer. Because urea is a very effective fertilizer as well. But in this case, there was an issue. As I stated before, there was a fire that was sort of smoldering in the hold, right? And the longshoremen get down there and they're like, we need to fight this fire, right?
Sure.
So, the first thing to do is they get big containers full of water. They lower it into the hold with a crane and people dump it on the fire, right?
Sure. Sounds like firefighting, I guess.
Yeah, they do some firefighting, right? Well, they do that twice and it doesn't really reduce the amount of fire there is, right?
It keeps coming back, right? Like they tamp it down for a bit and then like 5 minutes later it's just smoking again.
Yes. So the longshoremen say, this isn't enough. We don't have enough water. We need a hose, right?
A hose full of cum.
Yes.
Have I got news for you?
So they call for, a hose full of an unspecified liquid.
It's cum. Just say cum.
Well, what do you think firefighting foam is?
Industrial strength semen. Yeah. And the whole village is pregnant and shit.
Such fucking dumbasses.
But and I read the actual report for this report from after the incident. Someone, and it doesn't say who, denies the request because the amount of water a hose would put on the ammonium nitrate would damage the cargo, right?
Oh, sure. Which is currently a bit on fire.
It is on fire, yes.
Only a bit, though, thank God.
Well, the water would damage more of the cargo than what was currently on fire.
Yeah, but I feel like there's an error in calculation there in terms of not understanding that stuff being on fire tends to put stuff near it also on fire. That being how fire works.
I feel like maybe the size of the fire was not clearly communicated to whoever's job it was to protect the cargo from getting wet.
But this is the southern thing. Is you just like you take a paragraph to say the thing, and so I declare that there may be a risk of conflagration in the vicinity of.
Why I do declare.
There's a joke that was on a TV show, but I predates it. It's like why the South lost the Civil War was all of these general officers standing there with their hands in their coats, being like, "Why, General, I do declare that the Yankees may appear to have." Oh shit! Here they are.
Hey, what's good, guys?
Maybe because it took them so long to say it. At around 8:30, the captain says, "Why I do declare, I believe we should abandon ship."
Yeah, he sounds the foghorn leghorn.
Yeah. So everyone on board got the fuck out. I don't think anyone who was actually any longshoreman who was actually working on the boat stayed in the area long enough to get blown up.
Wise. The two acronyms, the one you respond to with the other, ANFO and GTFO.
Yes. So at this point, there's a pretty vigorous fire on the boat. Again, this is you can see the smoke here, right? All the smoke was orange.
Oh, cool.
And so some of the townsfolk of Texas City decided, hey, we're going to crowd around and watch. We want to go see the firefighting happening.
Of course.
Yeah.
You have like this spectacle. People love street theater. Same thing with Chernobyl. Hey, you want to go see the power plant catch fire? It's got these weird it's got these weird colored flames. It looks cool as hell.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah.
So 26 firemen arrived on the scene with 4 fire trucks, right? And they start to set up water lines to fight the fire properly, right? And some witnesses on scene reported that the sea was boiling around the ship from the heat of the fire.
Shouldn't be doing that.
I see you've never been to Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah, Cleveland is it's not boiling. You just walk across, right? Like,
yeah, it's the river was on fire. Yes.
Okay, but I'm thinking of before it caught fire, it had like the thick crust that was the thing that caught fire. So you could just have a stroll across the river.
Of course. So it was theorized at this point that like some fuel oil got in contact with the ammonium nitrate, possibly from it being so goddamn hot in the hold.
Happens. I mean, that's the thing with like oil. If you work with any kind of oil, it gets everywhere. You can't control all of it. And once a little bit of it like catches fire, there's a lot of fire.
Yes.
It's not so good.
So anyway, at 9:12, the SS Grand Comp blew up.
Mm.
Oh no!
But blew all of the pixels out of this photo.
Yes, it did.
Yes.
It was such a big explosion that most pixels in the area were destroyed.
Wow, somber time.
Yes. So this explosion was equivalent to 2.7 or 3.2 kilotons of TNT, depending on which measurements you use. Right.
So
and, baby numbers.
That's your nuke, basically.
That's about 1/5 the size of the little boy atomic bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima.
God damn. That sounds unpleasant.
I suppose it helps that this is happening not just at ground level as opposed to an airburst, but also partly in the sea. So, some of that energy is just going down into the boiling water. But I
mean, it helped, but it also caused some problems, which we'll talk about in a second.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So, all right. So the first thing that happened was the entire Texas City Fire Department was murdered immediately.
Yeah.
Apart from one guy who hadn't shown up yet.
But I feel like this is like a lot of these things. When we do these disasters, it's either the like long, slow, agonizing deaths, which, you feel very bad about, or it's this where you're just like 1 minute you're fighting the fire and like having a nice time being a Texas City firefighter.
Fight the fire with your bros, yeah.
Yeah, and the next you're just kind of missed, right? That's not.
Yes.
It's that reminds me of the what had happened after Lac Mégantic. They're we basically don't need ambulances because everybody's dead.
Yeah, like I still feel bad, but if I had to pick one of those ways to die, I'm going with I'm with my bros. I'm just vibing. I'm having a nice time, and then there's nothing there.
And there's
anymore.
No more of you. No more Alice.
Yeah, exactly.
Which would be a shame because this podcast barely stays on the rails as it is.
Yeah, we were saying while you were off the air that like with one of us gone, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, it just devolves into inanity.
Well, thank you very much for listening to me complain about that time Roz did me dirty and allowing me to be on the podcast.
No, seriously, it didn't work with two people. We did the first episode, and all of the comments were like, "Who's this dumb asshole who keeps interrupting Justin?"
Now we outnumber him.
Yes, exactly. You got to change that power dynamic.
So several firefighting crews from local industries also showed up, and they were also murdered. Right?
Oh,
pretty quickly.
Okay.
Yeah. And the ship was obliterated entirely. There were huge shards of metal propelled thousands of feet through the air at supersonic speeds.
Yeah.
So there were two explosions in short succession, right? Because the ammonium nitrate was stored in two holds.
So it blows up one, that hits the other, and then that goes up too.
Yes.
The sympathetic detonation, a phrase I really love. It's like, well, if you're going through it too, man, I'll just,
Wouldn't that be empathetic, not sympathetic?
You would think, but I think it is called, I don't know why, but it's called a sympathetic detonation.
That's weird. I don't like that. I like empathetic detonation. I think it's more accurate. So now windows are shattered in buildings as far away as Galveston, which is 10 miles away across the bay.
That's what you get for not using Linux.
Yeah. And Baytown, which is 25 miles away. These shockwaves were propagated through the water much farther than they were through the air.
Yeah, because like when like Lac-Mégantic and Halifax, when we ever talk about that, people heard those pretty far away, but it didn't like do a lot of damage to them, right?
Yeah.
Whereas this, you just kind of get the fucking like shockwave of this, and it just breaks all your windows. And all of your windows are made of like just regular glass because it's 1947, and so like everybody gets horribly maimed. It's cool. You crash your truck full of gelignite and morphine syrettes.
That causes another disaster.
Yeah.
And show on.
Jesus, it's a miracle the whole fucking country didn't go up in like this chain reaction of like all of the incredibly dangerous shit that everyone was living with the whole time. Just like everything is like a separate piece in a Rube Goldberg machine that like this sets off all of the like leaded gasoline.
So leaded gasoline explodes like a
don't let your kids lick it.
Yeah, that takes out the like radium chemistry set factory next door.
Oh no.
The leaded gasoline got us a couple decades of GOP dominance of government. Let's talk about tetraethyl lead.
Yeah, we'll talk about the chemist who invented tetraethyl lead, CFCs, and then also died in a machine of his own design. Just
hell of a career.
Yeah, that's what you don't want to do when you become an industrial chemist.
So the ship's anchor was found 1.6 miles from the site. They built a park around it. You can still go see it. Cool. It's still in the same spot.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. That's it's a bit of solid metal. It's meant to be heavy and immovable. So just that's on the end of a long chain. It just gets fucking zoop, and it just gets yeeted into East Texas.
And away we go.
This meshes nicely with the suck train.
Yeah.
Oh, to have been someone riding that anchor. Be like that the flat Earth guy who died. Rest in power to that guy.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
So now here's the thing. This explosion was in a heavily industrial area, right? With mostly petrochemical industries.
Because that's all industry was at that time, was you make insanely dangerous stuff out of other insanely dangerous stuff. I'm the guy whose job it is to like paint the radium paint onto this like can of benzene with no gloves or anything.
Yes. As a result, a bunch of stuff caught fire. Now,
call the fire department.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Call Jeff. Because he's the last one left.
Hey Jeff, you coming into work today, bud? As just body parts are falling all around him. He's just fucking damn eggs.
Yeah. Everybody you know has just been turned into mulch, but you get like the text from your boss that you get like, hey, we're gonna need you to come in. Yeah, I know you took the day, but like, it's really
short-staffed.
Yeah, we're really short-handed now.
Jeff's just texting back. Damn, that's crazy. Good luck, though. I once had a coworker who texted my boss. Damn, that's crazy. Good luck, though.
So. All right, well, let's look at some of the industrial facilities surrounding the boat and what happened to them.
We got the fucking like the Henry Ford racism factory.
Oh no.
Oh no. Not the racism
My
factory.
copy of the Dearborn Independent sold with every new Ford.
All right. So there's a lot going on here. I believe the main slip here where it says 2 is where the boat was. Right?
And then wasn't.
And then wasn't. Yes. Then the boat was spread evenly through.
Right next to it, you have a grain elevator there. Those things are death traps. You got to be careful with those.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I think the grain elevator actually survived pretty much intact.
Huh. So somebody taking grain safety seriously, finally.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Well, just on account of being a solid concrete bunker. I don't remember if it's 2 or if it's 1. It may be 1.
But I think by this point it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really matter, yeah. So the bulk of the impact was on the Monsanto Chemical Company.
Oh no, my corn syrup.
Oh.
It's the same Monsanto as it is now, but this is before they were a GMO monopoly.
I keep noticing different things. There's a molasses tank. We almost had a Boston molasses flood again.
Bonus episode coming soon, folks. But on Do Not Eat's channel.
It's just like diagonally bottom left of the Monsanto Chemical Company. There's a molasses tank.
Yeah, there is just a big tank of molasses.
And then south of that, you have like a very like 40s thing of we love to do like cutesy alliteration. The Carbide and Carbon Chemicals Corporation. Fucking Batman animated series ass.
I was just thinking that. That sounds like where Joker fell into the vault.
Yeah, they have like a beautiful hand-painted sign.
The Monsanto Chemical Company at this point, they're making styrene, right? Which is this is a precursor to plastic, right?
Yeah, it hasn't gotten into the polycule yet, so it's just styrene.
Yeah, it's monogamous styrene, not polystyrene. Yeah. Right. And styrene's used for a lot more than just polystyrene, but for the purposes of discussion, they're making plastics, right? So their big warehouse was just adjacent to the explosion. I think it's this building here, because this was a converted sugar factory. And that bore the brunt of the explosion. It was just annihilated, just wrecked, right? And the rest of the factory caught fire. One notable thing is there are a pair of benzol tanks.
Ew.
And I'm not sure what benzol is, because I couldn't figure it out.
I don't like the word. I don't like the syllable benz in there.
I'm pretty sure it's just pure benzene.
Which, if we go back and listen to the Lac-Magantic episode, Justin, you mentioned is like one of the few chemicals that even the oil industry is like, yeah, there's just no safe level of this.
Yeah, it's what anti-nuclear activists think your nuclear waste is.
Yeah, you don't want to like you don't want to touch it. Yeah, it's what fuck. Who was that chemist who like splashed some like I think some fluoride on her gloves and it just penetrated through that and like killed her a month later? Like it was some mercury salt or something. That's kind of like what benzene is like. You don't
hydrogen fluoride. Yeah.
We've been breathing in nonstop for the last few months. Thank God.
Of course. Yeah.
Well, there's an HF tank somewhere in this image, but I don't know where.
I also see the Humble Pipeline Company. I buy my video game bundles from them.
We'll get to them in a second. So those 2 benzol tanks burned for 7 days. The Monsanto plant was a total loss, just completely destroyed.
Well, I mean, Monsanto didn't seem to like do too badly out of it, so.
Yeah, they seem to have come back pretty well. Another one down here was the Humble Pipeline Company, which
you pay what you want for a selection of pipelines.
Oh, they didn't make pipelines; they ran a pipeline. What they made was oil.
Ah, okay.
They had 10 tanks here. You can see they're lettered. I don't know what the letters are for.
They're burned or crushed. No, seriously, that's what it says on the like legend.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, but B for burned, C for minor to serious crushing.
Ah, okay.
Diagrams are so helpful.
These tanks were an older design, right? And so they had wooden floating roofs on them, right? The rest of the tank was metal, but they had a wooden floating roof. And as a result of this, when one of them caught fire, the roof also started burning and started releasing embers out, which ignited other roofs.
We don't need no water. Let the motherfucker burn. Burn, motherfucker, burn.
Fuck you. I was about to make that joke.
All 10 of these tanks were full on the day of the explosion because they were expecting a couple tankers to come in.
Cannot catch a fucking break, I guess.
No.
Yeah, so 8 of the 10 tanks caught fire through a chain reaction of just the wooden roof burning up and going through the air and setting another wooden roof on fire. One of them was extinguished. And the other 7, they didn't have enough firefighting equipment to do anything other than let them burn out.
So why build these floating wooden roofs, right? There's got to be some reason other than just like the aesthetic, right?
They were old. Okay, this is an extra bit I'm adding in post because I don't think I answered that question adequately. The reason you have a tank with a floating roof is for 2 reasons, right? Well, really 1 reason, which is to limit the amount of space that the liquid inside the tank, in this case oil, has to evaporate, right? So, for instance, the floating roof floats right on top of the surface of the liquid, so there's no room for it to evaporate into a gas. This is good because it limits the amount of liquid you lose through evaporation, and it also prevents, the possibility that you'll get just the right air-fuel mixture in there, and it'll either catch fire or explode spontaneously. So the floating roof prevents both of those things. They're usually not made of wood anymore. All right, back to the regularly scheduled podcast.
Okay. Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah. So the Texas City Terminal Railway had this big yard here, right? And there were 362 rail cars in there, and they were all either damaged or destroyed.
F.
Fuck.
They also lost 4 locomotives, I think.
Oh no!
Even more
yeah.
F. Yeah. Jesus, imagine you're just like plowing your fields out in East Texas, and a fucking like 460 locomotive just buries itself in your beet field.
And some other miscellaneous damage, right? So there was a 15-foot tidal wave on account of the explosion.
Oh, good.
Which managed to propel this barge about 200 feet inland.
Huh.
There were 2 light aircraft flying in the area. The explosion just knocked them out of the air.
Oh, damn.
I mean, one thing I read was that they just sheared the wings off of them at the spars.
Good Lord.
Yeah, it just snapped the wings off. It's not great. Note the 150-foot oil barge washed ashore by the high tidal wave, that caption says. Yeah, I think I would have noted that.
Yeah. just a little thing.
That's not supposed to be here.
So most commercial buildings in Texas City were damaged or destroyed. Most homes in Texas City were damaged or destroyed. A huge amount were condemned.
Like Megantic stuff again.
Yeah. All the firefighting equipment in the city was destroyed. Power and water were knocked out. I think power was restored to most of the city by noon-ish.
That's pretty good, but like, how are we doing on like environmental contamination? Like, where's all that benzene going? I mean, maybe,
everywhere.
Yeah, of course.
Every single spot.
Just got a thick layer, like a sheen.
Yeah.
This is my benzene facial. So then, and okay, so at least 581 people were killed, and like 8,500 people were injured or so.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Just from like various steering column impalements, non-safety glass lacerations, radium paint ingestion.
Yes.
You just like you're handling your big like crate of mining explosives that you got at the store, and the thing goes off 20 miles away, and it just jogs your hand, and you just blow yourself up.
Yes.
Yeah, very sad.
And the death toll may be higher from undocumented workers and sailors who were, at the port at the time.
Always is. We talked a little bit about that in the Grenfell episode, about how people thought for months that the death toll was much higher than it was reported because a lot of the people who got killed didn't matter to the authorities. And same again. So cool.
Yes, but we're not done here.
Of course.
Oh well, thank God for that.
So
look at the consistency of the fuel oil on that water.
Oh yeah. See, I mentioned before that photograph was taken by the captain of another boat. This is that boat.
It's not supposed to do that, is it?
Not supposed to do that. This is actually another Liberty ship, the SS Wilson B. Keene. You note that there's not much. It's split in half. it might have done that on its
You
own.
said that didn't happen that often.
Rough handling. Rough handling, yeah.
Rough handling, yeah. Well, okay, so the firefighting and emergency response started immediately after explosions were heard, because they were heard as far away as Houston, which is like 60 miles away.
It's only 47, so at least people don't think that the Russians have like nuked them yet.
Yeah, that's true. Firefighters and medical personnel showed up from as far away as Los Angeles, and of course, this is a big firefighting job because everything was on fire, and of course, most of the people with the detailed firefighting knowledge in the area were not available.
We're dispersed over the area and a fine cloud.
Yes.
Apart from
Otherwise
Steve, who is
occupied.
like, yeah, Steve, who is still texting, like, yeah, I'm not coming in. I took the day.
I told you no.
Yeah, I took the day 2 months in advance. Fuck you. Going fishing.
I have turned off my work phone.
I was very clear about this.
Unlike the Liberty ships, very tightly compartmentalized.
So one of the first jobs that the emergency responders needed to do was to make sure there were no more explosions.
Good start.
Gotta keep a close fucking eye on that grain elevator.
Another ship, not the one in the picture, this is a third ship, right? It was nearby the explosion. It was called the SS High Flyer, right?
Great name.
And it had been being loaded with a certain cargo at the time of the explosion. And that was 961 tons of more ammonium nitrate.
Oh, good. Well, at least we're consistent.
Were you doing foreshadowing when you called Texas City a boomtown?
Yes. Yes, Texas City has actually seen several more booms in addition to this one. Once the Grand Camp had exploded, it tore the High Flyer from its moorings, and it had drifted into a third ship, which was the Wilson B. Keene, which is this one here, right? It got wedged in there, like no one could get it out too easily, right? So, it required a bunch of hard work to get it free. And the idea was, and it had also, of course, caught fire.
Of course, because everything was on fire by this point. It looked like Mordor.
It had also inadvertently dropped anchor.
Oops.
Yeah.
It's like, why is this thing stuck in there? Because the dude left the handbrake on.
Apparently.
Yeah.
So a bunch of longshoremen who were still there, and a bunch of other folks were like working hard to free this burning ship full of ammonium nitrate from another ship, which was the Wilson B. Keene was full of flour. So not so bad.
Equally dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would not be doing that. I would be running for Mexico by that point.
I was about to say I'd be right there with you.
Yeah.
So the idea was they were going to try and get this boat free, and they were going to tow it farther into the harbor, and they were going to leave it there, and it would blow up on its own time. Right?
That's wise. Yeah.
Far away.
Yeah.
So
do the ending of the third Batman movie. What was it? Dark Knight Rises? Yeah.
It took until 11 p.m. for tugboats to arrive to move the ship. It's been about 15 hours or so. A little bit less than that, excuse me. And work to free the ship was slow. No one could get it out. And then at about 1:12 a.m., it exploded, blew up.
Yeesh.
Yeah. So that didn't injure or kill so many people, only the people who were working on it. And as well as a few people on the tugs that were positioned nearby to grab it instantly.
Inadvertently did a drone strike to themselves before the invention of drones, where you just do a double tap, where you just you kill a bunch of people in an explosion, and then you kill a bunch of people trying to rescue people from the explosion with another explosion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Very nice.
Yeah, very, very efficient.
It caused a lot of extra property damage as well. No one knows exactly what was damaged by what explosion because, the devastation was so complete.
Sure.
So after this, there were no more really significant explosions. And I mean, a significant explosion here is a very high bar to clear. I mean, a lot of stuff was still blowing up all over the place. But it took them 7 days to fully extinguish all the fires or for the fires to burn themselves out. And it took them a month until they gave up recovering all the bodies.
Ran out of shovels.
Yeah. All right. So I guess this is a parking lot about a quarter mile out from the explosion.
Looking like Fallout out here.
Yeah. So, all right. So the aftermath.
Yeah, holy shit. Good Lord.
And the lawsuits.
Yay.
All right. So immediately the mayor organized the Texas City Relief Fund. And it was immediately co-opted by the mob.
Of course. Back to the switchblade breaks again.
Right.
Yes. So, Sam and Rosario Maceo. Is it Maceo? It might be Machio. I don't know.
Sam murdering JFK Aduciliano.
Yes.
Yes.
So they were famous for openly running large illegal casinos in Galveston.
Cool. Good to know.
Yeah. There was, I believe, one incident where the local sheriff refused to comply with, in order to raid one of the casinos, because he said, "Well, it's a private club and I'm not a member."
I mean, Chris has a story of like his grandpa from about this time of being waved through Louisiana state police or highway patrol checkpoints and getting escorted to the governor's mansion with a truck full of booze. Just to be like, yeah, this is the governor's booze. What's the problem? Yeah.
I see no problem here.
Southern corruption is really like a whole other thing. I have a long story of a long held opinion that I feel like we could have done okay out of a Huey Long presidency, where everyone has universal basic income, but it's in an incredibly crooked way, where you like have a no-show job at a factory run by like Bo, who is someone's cousin. It's like 25 Supreme Court justices passing every civil rights law, but they're all surnamed Long.
So you're a socialist, or you a Marxist Leninist, or what ideology are you? I'm a Huey Longist. All right. So at this point, the nickname for Galveston actually was just the Free State of Galveston, because none of Texas's laws applied there. Yeah. And I think one statistic I read was like 1 in 62 people in Galveston were sex workers.
So it was New Vegas.
Yes.
Cool.
Oh. Well, the other thing is that the mobsters running the place went on to really be some of the first people to found the Las Vegas Strip.
Of course.
So,
of course,
another proud moment of Jewish history.
Yeah, and also probably murder JFK, which I've been saying we need to do a Kennedy assassinations bonus episode.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, we're finally gonna solve it, guys.
We're going to do it. Yeah. We're going to look at it with the keen eye of STEM education.
Yes. Nobody's ever done hard science to this shit.
Nope. We will be the first, pioneering a brave new world.
Once you get that like map, that overhead plan of Dealey Plaza, and you John Madden it, we're going to solve this shit right quick.
Yes. So the Galveston mobsters, of course, they immediately organize benefit concert for the
some fucking
for the city, for Texas
shit.
City. Yeah, they got Sinatra.
Of course they fucking did. Ring a fucking ding ding. You just have Dean Martin there with a like extremely dry martini. Great, cool.
I'm not sure if they got Dean Martin. I only wrote down Sinatra. I mean, all those people did play at Galveston clubs, which were all run by the mob. So,
Of course.
and which were all had illegal gambling out in the open.
I can't believe there's gambling in this establishment.
And during Prohibition, it was, you could just get booze there and no one cared. They had slot machines in convenience stores, apparently. In Galveston.
The way of the future. And we I guess fucking just Elliot Ness that shit to death.
Yeah.
Goddamn fun police.
The relief fund raises $1 million. Fire insurance pays out $4 million. Reconstruction of Texas City costs $100 million.
To be fair, the benefit would have been at least $5 million, but $4 million of that went on to spray painting furniture gold. Buying a Cadillac dealership for some reason. Just all weirdly invested into sanitation companies.
Well, there's no garbage on the streets. I can't complain. Yeah. After this, there is a Supreme Court case, Elizabeth Daylight et al. Versus United States, right? So this was the first ever class action lawsuit brought against the U.S. government under the brand new Federal Tort Claims Act, right? And they were trying to recover damages from the government for the explosion caused by the ammonium nitrate they had ordered.
Well,
right, because this was a government shipment of ammonium nitrate over to Europe.
It was going to do some Marshall Plan shit, right?
Yeah. So this lawsuit escalated the Supreme Court, and they ruled against them in a 4-3 decision. No, fuck you. This is a national security thing or something like that.
Of course.
And
It was a discretionary power that the federal government was exercising to blow up a small part of the United States.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Also, you still, I guess, owe a lot of costs for lawyers. Cool.
Eventually, Congress took pity on them, and they did some federal relief funding. Almost a decade later.
That's the speedy congressional response that we love to see.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how Bernie Sanders is going to implement the Green New Deal and save us all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the fucking... I feel like what's going to happen is if, inshallah, we get a Bernie presidency, in 100 years' time, we'll get an act through what's left of, the Moon Congress saying that the Green New Deal would have been a good idea.
Look, stay positive. Stay positive.
Deep breaths.
We gotta stay positive.
In through the nose, out through the mouth. So,
all right, what happened to Texas City after this, right?
Well, I see some on fire there.
Yes.
The other Texas City disaster.
The industrial plants were rebuilt pretty quickly, but downtown Texas City never really recovered, right? There's still a lot of vacant lots near the explosion to this day. Now, some of that's because of benzene contamination and stuff like that, but,
Oh, well, at least they cared. At least they cared enough to be like, hey, maybe don't build your house on the extremely cancer chemical.
It was an interesting contrast looking at this refinery where there was a nice buffer zone between the housing and the refinery versus, say, here in Philadelphia, where there's that one little enclave of row houses in the middle of the refinery.
Yeah.
Just off of Passyunk Avenue.
I wonder if there's any kind of demographic reason for why that might have happened. Anyway,
impossible.
Don't worry about that.
Ben, just go ahead and buy this lot as part of a Johnny Knoxville style dare to see how many cancers a person can get at the same time.
So the lack of recovery of the downtown, I guess, has as much to do with post-war city planning as the disaster. I mean, suburbanization wrecked everywhere.
The NAFTA took away the explosion factory.
NAFTA did not take away the explosion factory. Because what you're looking at here is the third largest oil refinery in the United States, located in Texas City, which has blown up several times since then.
Occupational hazards.
Most recently in 2005, which is what we're looking at here.
That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Refineries blow up every once in a while, and we just tolerate it.
Yeah. It'll be fun when the one near you just takes out 2/3 of this podcast.
No, they are shutting down Atlantic Refining Company finally after 150 years.
I thought the White House overruled them on that and like made them.
They're still trying, but it doesn't look like it's going to go through.
Huh. Okay. Well, great. Finally, you don't have to live next to like a leaky tank of HF anymore.
No, I live near a nice, safe 2 gigawatt nuclear power plant.
Yeah.
People who haven't heard our nuclear power, our 3 Mile Island episode with Lindsay will not know that you're not being ironic when you say that.
Yeah. No, exactly. No, Limerick Generating Station is why I can produce this podcast with impunity. All the electricity I use is 100% carbon free.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah. Well,
We're
80% of
saving
the
the
electricity I use is 100% carbon free. But anyway, that's the story of the Texas City disaster.
The Texas City ammonium nitrate massacre.
Texas City is a boom town which has boomed many times, but this was the most significant boom.
Got him.
Yep.
Roasted.
That was the podcast. Next podcast, we'll do the Tacoma Narrows Bridge disaster.
Finally get it right this time.
Yes.
Talk about that dog.
Yeah, we'll talk about the dog.
dog.
Oh, and does anyone have any commercials before we go?
Listen to Trash Future. It's a very good podcast. I'm also on it. We are talking about, for our next bonus episode, Jacob Rees-Mogg, noted British shithead politician's terrible book. We were going to read that and torture ourselves.
You're going to get beyond Augustus Welby, Northmore Pugin?
Yes. Yeah, we're doing some more Victorians. I think we have W.G. Grace, the cricketer. Yeah, so it's going to be entertaining. We're bringing comedian Nish Kumar back for that, just to like torture him with that. So it's going to be very fun.
All right.
When's Franklin? When is Franklin?
Right.
When is Franklin?
Allegedly, it's coming soon.
Allegedly coming soon. The finish line is within sight. By which I mean I'm still working on those goddamn models, and I didn't get any work done on them last week, but this week I think I will get some work done.
Yeah, what you need to do is, instead of those like Landseer lions, just get like a 3D model of an orb with the lion emoji on it, and just use those, and just be like, yeah, this was way easier.
Just an orb with a lion texture.
Yeah, but it's like all of the math textbooks that are like, assume a cow is perfectly circular.
Assume a lion is perfectly spherical.
Yeah,
and of uniform density.
Yeah, the lion exists in a vacuum, hypothetically.
That's going to cause some problems.
We're back to rat viscera again.
No, I'm imagining like there's a lion stuck in your vacuum cleaner.
Just trying to picture the sound that would make and having a nice time.
and yes, Franklin 11 is coming soon. I promise. Pinky swear. And follow me on Twitter at 29802.
You're back, bitches.
Yeah, I'm back. And that's my commercial.
All right. And finally, I am Liam Anderson. I'm at Old Man Anderson on Twitter. I have nothing to add of note.
Subscribe to our Patreon. When's the next episode going up?
Oh, the bonus episode about gun is coming soon. I'm gonna try and get that up shortly after I get this up.
Sweet.
So maybe not that shortly. It might be a day or two.
Yeah.
Just because if for the upload speed, if nothing else.
Sorry.
Shit takes almost as long to upload as it does to caption.
I love you, Usenet.
Plus, you'll get retro Alice as opposed to new crisp Alice.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
I sound like shit on that one, and I'm doing most of the talking. So yeah, pay us money for that.
Hell yeah.
Give us your money. Give us your money.
Yeah, give us your money.
Yeah.
Give us your money. I will be talking about the SA-80 program, which led to like a very dumb assault rifle for the British Army. It's a great deal of fun.
Yes.
Gun.
Yes.
Gun.
Gun.
The gun is good. The penis is bad.
Yes.
Forget how the rest of that line goes.
That's the entire line.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Unless you're doing call and response, as Zardoz does.
Yeah. I don't
God.
remember.
Oh, no, there is more to it. Never mind. I don't remember what it is either. It's irrelevant.
Yeah.
Well,
goodbye, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
All right.